I think I pulled my hamstring last night, so if I'm like limping, that's why. I thought I could play 2 games in a row. Clearly not. Yeah, basically, for those of you wondering who that is, there filming, that's Jess. Jess didn't want to speak, but she's our videographer. She does a lot of our content creation, and she's great at what she does. So she's going to be taking a little bit of video. I'll actually showcase a little bit of her work. But just over the course of the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to run through really quickly. Some of you have seen me present before, some of you haven't. So I'll give you a little bit about me, and then a little bit about the company as well, if that's cool. Um, so this is me and the fam. So we've got there's Amy, and then my 2 kids, April and Bond, doing probably one of the things that we love the most, which is to go to the beach and just relax. And growing up in the south coast of the UK, beaches were like pebbles and homeless people. So it's like you didn't really go to the beach and sit like that. And I wasn't a beach goer until I came to Australia. So yeah, it's pretty special to just go out and these some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. We're so lucky. That's my mum and dad. That was the last time that they came out here. So my mum was here when Bond was born. That was the last time they came out here. They're probably unlikely to come out again because they're in their mid-70s. It's a long way. It's a long way to go, even if you're in your 30s, let alone 70s. So, we might probably be unlikely that we're going to be travelling to see them anytime soon either, which is a bit sad. But they're accepting of the fact that we've built a life here, and they love the fact that we're thriving here. Which is cool. And then so April and then Bond. Bond is the coolest little dude you'll ever meet. Um,
Sorry, Rob, how come you got all black shirt?
how come all black shirt? I don't know. It was just a t-shirt I was wearing. I actually lived in New Zealand when I was 18. And I bought that then, and it still fits. So that's why I wear it. Okay, so as the quote says, life isn't a matter of milestones but a moment. So travelling was a big part of our journey. So my wife and I met when we were 18, when we were 21 at uni. After that, we'd always wanted to travel. As I said, I lived in New Zealand for a year, and it really grew me as an individual to go halfway around the world, literally the furthest away that I could from my friends and family. It gave me a real desire to want to go and travel and see the world, mix with different cultures, just see what the world is about. And so prior to coming to Australia, Amy and I travelled 6 months around the world. So instead of buying a house, we went travelling. So we spent the best part of what the equivalent of would be about $50,000 Australian on going travelling. And we visited 26 different countries, North, Central and South America, and it was unbelievable. This was on safari in Titicaca National Park, and we got to see like the rhinos coming over the hill while the sun was setting. It was one of the most amazing moments of art. It was just like nature, and those guys are so like. The guys that look after them are just so passionate about the animals. There's a lot of poaching, so a lot of Chinese businessmen will pay local poachers to go and kill rhinos to grind up their horns for magic dust that doesn't do anything. So they protect. These guys literally die protecting these animals. It's one of the most heartbreaking stories that I've ever heard. So when you go there and you hear those stories, it's crazy what people do to animals and stuff. A bit of snorkeling and Disneyland and went to the Bahamas, did a cruise, bungee jumping, all that kind of thing. And that was in Peru at Machu Picchu, which was just, we didn't do the Inca Trail. I didn't fancy sort of 7-day trek going to the toilet in the woods, so I got the bus, I said it was down to time, but it was definitely laziness. The church is a big part of my life, so I know Big Joe from church. There he is there, looking really happy about going to serve. I did a leadership program for a year, which was very humbling. It was to my first sort of taste of ministry, as it were, in church. So it was like every Sunday and Tuesday. It was when me and my wife got baptized, 2016. I got the chance to preach as well in front of about 600-700 people, which was a really amazing experience to share my testimony and what's happened in my life. And then Amy, that's my wife there, and me, actually baptizing people, which when they want to give their life to God, it's pretty special. And we do this every year, so we call it Serve Day. So we go across in the community and we actually just serve it. We just go and we did it this year, mow people's lawns and take rubbish out, and that was in the local area, and it's just trying to be able to help the community because it's all about community. And a lot of people who move to the coast, or a lot of people who live on the Gold Coast, typically have moved here. Therefore, I feel like they generally really care about the local community as opposed to sort of a large sprawling city like London, where I grew up. So this is me. I'm the head of sales at Yakk. I've been in training and coaching for about 15 years. I've done a lot of public speaking and stuff. Sales and marketing since I was 18. Did over $1 million in referral business in a couple of years, lifelong learner, blah, blah, blah. And then Amy and Bon. So Yakk, so I don't know if a lot of people know about the company that I work for or work with. Excuse me. So Broden, who's the owner, we started the company in 2017. It actually gone through two really bad business um, uh, a really bad business journey. He had a company that was multiple locations. One day he came into the office, his business partner's wife was shredding documents. He'd quit, taken all of Broden's money, and Broden went from having a mill in the bank to having to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and wages. And he had a daughter and his wife at the time at 21. Lost everything. Had to rebuild the business. He got sued when he started his second business. So he's got a lot of tenacity, bro. And if you ever meet him or just get him to tell him, get him to tell you his story. I've known Broden for a few years through networking at BNI. I've got a lot of time for him, and he gave me a great opportunity to work at Yakk. I was in a really sort of stressful, high pressure sales role, selling corporate sales training. I was traveling all over the country delivering sales training. Sounds great, but it's not. For those of you who've done that, hotel rooms and all that stuff, it's really not great. Time away from family, a lot of corporate nonsense. So Broden offered me the chance to work at Yakk. Local business, cares about the community, cares about genuinely helping the businesses. When you bring someone on board, you're not a number and that kind of thing. So why Yakk? So Broden, I guess, just sort of picked it. I think the name rings true. We want to try and help people take them to the highest altitudes of success, I suppose. Plus the Yakk's pretty cool, so I think that's why he did it. So this is our team. So Jess, you've now met. So we've got Broden, myself, Ethan and Ben are the web developers. So we've got two web developers, and they also deal with SEO. So some of you who've had the audits, Ben would have been the guy that did those audits for you guys. Paige is our graphic designer, and then when we can't do that work, we actually can refer to Chris. So we do work with other agencies as well, but she deals with all the design, website design, and branding and that kind of thing. I don't really understand any of that. Branding, as Chris will tell you, a lot of people will overlook it, but it's actually a really important part, so they tell me. Susanna is our head of social media, so she takes care of the paid advertising. So social media is split up into two different things. You've got advertising, which is the paid ads, and then you've got the sort of organic content that you're posting and so on and so forth. We do both for people. So the paid ads is what you want to reach your sort of target market who you don't know already, and then the organic content is the stuff that you put out to the people that have liked and followed your page. So they're two very different things. And a word of advice, and we spoke about this before, never boost any of your posts. It's just a waste of money. You just promote you to lots of people that don't care, and you end up getting a lot of abuse and stuff like that. A lot of people boost their posts and then wonder why they're getting people reviewing them, or it can be effective, but I just wouldn't do it. That's just my opinion. Jess does the videography, so she will go to our clients and get content, and I'll show you a clip of what she can do in a second. Andy is our Google Ads guy, so he does Google advertising. He's a premier partner, so he's been with Google for like 10 years. I've just hired Sophie, so she's moving from Melbourne. She's going to drive up hopefully when the borders reopen. We've got Alana, Karina, and Mia who take care of admin and so on and so forth. So growing team. We're based in Southport. And we've, it's a great culture. If you've ever come into the office for a coffee, or Nola can tell you, or anyone who's come in, we're real genuine, friendly group of people. So not like some marketing agencies. Hey, look, some agencies are great too, some aren't. just like in any business, really, right? So results. So one of our clients, probably one of our top clients in terms of results and stuff, is Whatmar. So that's one of our testimonials. We use that for. Oh, you can read. I don't need to read it out. But so yeah, she's very complimentary of the work that we've done for her and her team. I guess the key element is that we do the work for her, where she doesn't have to worry about it. But if you do want people to work with you on that, we'll sit down, we'll meet with you once a month, we'll go through and look at all of the bits and pieces that you need to do to help your business grow. And if you ever meet Sharon, she's a bit of a character as well. So this is just a little video that Jess made for one of the car detailing places. So she was there all day, and it's just a little video that she put together just to showcase what they do. We're going to be putting a bunch of content out for them over the course of the next month or so, and that's just a real snippet. But real high quality. These can be used on socials. We're redoing their website. So Jess is very talented at what she does. We're very lucky that she works with us, and that's just part of it. Video content is also really engaging. So if you are putting content out on the socials, my advice is video content on Instagram as well. If you're using Reels, which are the short content, if you want to know what they are, ask Jess. We've got to go straight away because we're going to the Brisbane Expo. But if you do want to have a chat with us, just reach out. Oh no, watching that again. Oh yeah, that's my car. It's not. I'm driving a beat up Kia outside. So yeah, basically we do SEO. We do, I don't know why they're on the same page. SEO, social media content, graphic design, website builds. Sales training is something that I do. It's not something that we offer to everybody, but if you do want to, it's ethical sales. I've been doing it for a long time. So if people are looking, or if you hear people that don't understand how to sell, they don't know how to convert clients, or they just want to communicate better, and that's something that we offer. And then marketing strategy is something that we do before we launch any campaigns. We don't just jump into your campaign and launch it. We've got to understand who you are, what's your target market, what's your message. Some companies will just start running ads, or they'll start running a campaign without really understanding your business, and then 3 or 4 months in, then they're like, well, maybe we need to get to know you a bit better. It's very frustrating, and you've already spent best part of 4 or 5 grand, and you're wondering where my money's going, which is the common complaint, or the common comment that we get when people come to us and they say, oh, I've been working with this company and they did this. It's really common, so we try not to do that. And if we don't think we can help, or maybe we're a little bit out of budget, so it's not cheap to do, we'll tell you that. We're not just going to take what you have and try and work with it. If you don't have enough money, if you've got a budget of $200-300, well, it's not going to work for us, so we'll try and help you find someone that potentially could help you. Because there's enough work for everybody, right? So. And then, so social media obviously is a big part of it. Half the world has phones and social media. People spend on average about 2.5 hours on the socials. So if you aren't on the socials, it's definitely worth being on them. In Australia, Facebook's got over 16.5 million monthly users, YouTube, Instagram, and 1 in 2 Aussies use YouTube, and 6 out of 10 use Facebook. It is a really, really important platform to be on while it's here and while it's being used. So it is something that's worth being on there. So I'd highly recommend that if you're not on that platform, at the very least, one of the biggest questions is, what should I post? And the answer to that is anything. Just start sharing content, start putting some stuff out there, because you never know who's watching. I have a lot of people that will reach out to me privately, or sometimes reach out and say, oh, I saw that video you did, or I saw that post. Sometimes that people don't, especially as an organisation, they're always watching what you're doing. And with the content that Jess puts out, people don't reach out to us, go, oh, I saw that video and I reached out. It's just going in unconsciously, and then they might reach out 3 months later when they're ready. So it's just about being present. So if you have some level of presence, it's worth doing. So that's just my advice on that. How are we doing for time? All right, we'll finish up in a sec. And then social media stuff, but we do others as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So as you know, we do audits for websites and SEO. So they're free audits. So if you haven't done it already, or you know someone whose website is, you maybe jump on their site, or they're complaining about their site, or maybe they're complaining about their hosting, or whatever it is. Like when we did Anita's, there was a piece of code in her site that was stopping her from being found on Google. recently, I believe that she did have a Google an inquiry from Google, which they hadn't had before, first time ever. Yeah, it's really important that you have somebody objectively look at your site just to give you some feedback. We also did that with Pam as well. Her site was a bit of a mess. She paid someone a lot of money to do it as well. So we didn't charge her for the services, we just tidied it up for her. So we're happy to do that for you just to kind of help you out, or if you want to take it further, you can. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm open to questions, like probably not right now, but if you want to reach out or come in and come to the office, our coffee machine is working again. So after our power cut, I don't know if you saw Broden's email, but someone broke into the building underneath the Yakk and stole all the copper wiring, so it shorted out all the electrics and it blew all the fuses on our computers. Our Yakk sign doesn't light up anymore, and the aircon was broken and all that. So but the coffee machine's working. So if you want to come in for a coffee and sit down and have a chat, I think Mel, we're going to do that at some point. So feel free to come through. But that's me. Thank you.
I just want to do a shout out to the Yakk Digital. So I had a pleasure of meeting Roden, and so I went and caught up with him, and it's fascinating from my point of view. He said, come in, and then he's got this massive whiteboard, and he basically asked me tough questions. He said, okay, where are you right now, and what is my end result? So he had a massive flow chart. Okay, what do you want to do? And he basically nutted out exactly where am I, and what do you want to achieve? And it was massive. I spent about 2 hours, and it made me think, what do I really want to? I didn't have my end result, and so I want to thank Berlin and your team for just putting that bit of thing. So I've got some ideas what I want to achieve, and Jess done a massive headshot as well. So thank you for that. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, so it's worth just for a bit of your businesses, and it's worth just shouting out, having a meeting with them, and just to pinpoint exactly what you guys want to achieve out of it.
Thanks, AJ. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Is this a mission?